Hi, my name's Andy. I'm a coach and instructor trainer in the UK, and in this video this is part 2 of a how to develop your tacks video. If you haven't seen part 1, go and check that one out. That's got some really useful information to set you up for what comes next. In part 2, what I want to do is actually look at a few definitions and define a few things before in part 3 I'll be moving on to a little bit more of a how-to, getting on the water, how to practice it. So in this one, this is looking at how to roll tack, or not how to roll tack, what is a roll tack and all the things that go in to make it up. So if we look at what makes a good tack, so there's 3 things that a good tack should do. So this is your assessment criteria. First of all, it should be close hauled to close hauled. The next thing, it should maintain speed. And then the third thing, you should get through your tack as quick as possible. You don't want to be hanging around in a tack any longer than you need to. So with those 3 things in mind, a roll tack, what it uses is not just the rudder, but it tries to use your weight and the sails to maintain speed, but also to get your tack done as soon as possible. The sort of close haul to close haul bit, that's going to be down to you, and the rudder, that was what I looked at in part 1. Okay, so before I delve into a roll tack and what makes it up, there's a few things you need to understand. First of all, let me go for how the sails steer a boat. So in this diagram here, we've got diagram of a boat. There's, imagine a sort of central point where all the power in the sails are. So this will be your center of effort, and that corresponds to a point in the boat where your lateral, where it would pivot around. It's pivot point or center of lateral resistance. If these are in line, the boat will go in a straight line. As soon as these move out of line, you're going to get a little bit of steering. So if you can move this back a little bit, what's going to happen is you're going to get a push from the back of the boat and it will turn into the wind. Likewise, if you can move it forwards a little bit, so over this way, we're out of line, you're going to get a push from towards the front of the boat and it's going to steer away from the wind. So this could be done in 2 ways, really. If you're sailing upwind and looking to tack, you're trying to move this back a little bit. If you're in a double-handed boat, you may ease the jib, maybe just squeeze the main in a little bit. In a single-hander, may just be squeeze the main in. This has a minor effect in tacks. It's not the main way that the sails will help to turn the boat, but it's good to know. Right, probably the other way the boat or the sails turn the boat is I'm going to draw a sail pretty near head to wind. Okay, so what's going to happen is the front of the sail will start to back just as you get head to wind, but the back of the sail will remain full. If at this point you give that sail a big waft through the air, as in roll the boat hard, what you're going to get is a force towards the back of the sail, but it's not going to be happening at the front because it hasn't got any wind in it. What that will do is effectively push the back of the boat around because the force is coming in at the back. So that's another way the sails will steer your boat. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. Right, the other way your boat steers is the heel or the balance of the boat. If a boat is flat, it's going to go in a straight line. This is talking about sailing upwind. Okay, as it starts to lean one way or the other, it's going to try to steer. So in this diagram, we've got the heel sort of away from the sail and the boomer heeling over towards the water, so leeward heel, and the boat will try turning towards the wind. The opposite, if you heel the boat over on top of you, the boat will start to steer away from the wind. Okay, so coming into the tack, it will be this bit here, this leeward heel, that we're going to be mostly using to initiate the tack. Right, the third little bit that I want to have a look at is even if you're not using your rudder, if it's just left on the back of the boat all alone, it will naturally move to the angle that the boat is steering at. So if a rudder is in the middle, it will be trying to make the boat go in a straight line. If the boat is steering because of balance and sails, the rudder will naturally move to the angle of the turn. So if the boat in this case is steering around like that, the rudder is going to be naturally moving. And the reason I say that, that's quite important when you are roll tacking, to just allow the rudder to move and not initiate it. If you think, oh, I don't want to use the rudder, and you hold it in the middle, actually you are using the rudder to make the boat go straight. In order to not use the rudder, you have to let it move. Right, so looking into the roll tack now, I think probably the best way to think of it and break it down is to look at it in 3 phases. So we've got the entry phase, which is from close hauled all the way up to almost head to wind. Then there's the sort of the flick bit, where you take the boat from just about head to wind through to the new close hauled. Technically that is the tack, the bit from head to wind over to here. And then there's the exit phase, where you're getting the boat sailing again on the new tack. So in the entry phase, what you're largely using will be a little bit of gentle balance, and this wants to be actually a very smooth steering. So you're gradually increasing the amount of turning that is happening on the boat. When you get to the head to wind, this bit here, this you want to get over and done with as quick as possible. The flick uses the sail steering effectively, so you're trying to roll the boat hard to windward when the back of the sail is still filled, the front is flapping. That will get it through onto its new tack, and the exit now is where you will flatten the boat and get the boat sailing again back up to speed. Okay. This is just a look at how-to video. In the next video, what I want to look at is just focus on different bits. And I mean, you could focus on any bit, but I think the first one, just obvious, is the entry, and then just starting to think of the timing of the flick. So looking at how to get a good entry. Before then, what's really good is actually seeing if you can find a few good videos from YouTube. There's a really nice one that John Emmett has done. There's another one with Paul Goodison in. I'll put those in a link down in the comments. Have a look at those and just see if you can look at each of the phases, so recognize them and look at the timing of them. So you should see quite a slow, smooth entry, and then when the boat gets more or less head to wind, then quite an aggressive flick through the wind, and then getting the boat sailing again as quick as possible. Okay, hopefully that's been useful. Next time I'll be focusing on the entry. If you like it, give me a like, and then hit the subscribe button to be notified of any future videos. Cool. All right, thanks very much.